Number 5, we also have the retailers. Basically, retailers, they have the direct access to the consumers. So the rapid growth of retailers in emerging markets will lead to more efficient supply chain, including less waste, lower prices for the consumer, and safer food. So basically, sila po ang pinaka-saturated mga retailers, especially in the situation here in the Philippines. Everywhere you go, retailers are present. Most of them in the form of sari-sari store, mga 7-Eleven, those are retailers. They are very much saturated. Muna nga, the competition is very high. There is a very perfect competition within retailers, no? Regardless of what product that they are offering. So they may be retailers may source products from any of the 3 previous steps in the value chain. Either they source out their products from food companies directly, katong mga, of course, pero very rare. Talagsara kaayo. Most of this, they're sourced out their products from traders and farmers most of the time. As the primary interface with the consumer, in addition to responding to consumer preferences, retailers can play a significant role in influencing them, especially in matters concerning health, eating, and sustainability. So their function is to have really demand pool, no, for them to really to distribute the products to the consumers. So though they are saturated, their role is very important in the supply chain, in the distribution of the product. Now, we have here the steps in creating an effective supply chain. So ato lang ni i-summarize, no? First is develop strategic objectives and tactics. Basically, the ultimate objective should be is to satisfy the customers, lower the cost, and to have an effective and efficient supply chain. That should be the goal. That should be the goal. To really have a smooth flow of activities, smooth flow of the functions, of the different processes, to be able to bring the product to the customers at least minimum cost, at the lowest possible cost. Then second is to integrate and coordinate activities in the internal portion of the chain, in the actual production, the actual processes. If you are a farmer, you have to ensure that you can maximize your production, you can have an efficient production. If you are a food manufacturer, you have to make sure proper scheduling, proper work schedule, reduce the cost of manufacturing, the cost of goods manufactured, and you reduce the cost of goods sold as much as possible. The internal organization, you have to iron out everything, the supply chain within the organization. And then coordinate activities with suppliers and customers. Here comes the human interaction. Here comes the coordination, forming of alliances, forming of linkages, forming of partnership among suppliers and customers, and building good relationship among them. Then coordinate planning and execution across the supply chain. So do not stop only on the negotiation, but make sure that when you do the actual transaction, you do it with utmost pure intention, deliver the products on the right time, the right quantity, the right quality, walang lamangan. Nanagyan. Then consider the possibilities of forming strategic partnerships. If you can notice, the most successful agripreneurs are those people with many friends, with many connections. Pareha gud sa inyo, kinsa may dagkog score, of course katong mga friends niya, mga bright nga tagaan siya mga answer. So something yun na ba? And not same with that analogy. If you have a lot of partners, alliances, it will be easy for you to look for sources for supplies. You can easily troubleshoot your problems. You can easily find solutions to issues and challenging that your agribusiness is facing. No, we have students. For example, I have advisee, an advisee who is she deals with broiler production. and then I think she raised around 150 heads. And then the time of harvest, when the target weight was already achieved, she has now a problem in distributing or in selling the live broiler chicken. But then before negosyante na magud siya, daghan na siya mga negosyo, mga paluwagan and everything. So here comes nga, tungod sa iyang connection na isa ka buyer iha 120 heads diretso. Ang uban 5 ka heads, ang uban na 10 ka heads. One day hurot iyang manok. That is just a clear and a very simple picture or an example of what are the benefits that we can get if we form strategic partnership. And we can do that if we build good relationship. Ug kung naa nay relationship, dapat makontento, dapat tarungon, dili biyaan, dili makalit og kawala, no? Kay dapat ampingan, palambuon og mo to siya, palambuon og dapat patamison, inana nga mga relationship to succeed in the supply chain, to have an effective and efficient supply chain. So let's try to consider some of the supply chain strategies that we can do, no, to improve the supply chain. As akong mentioned, the first one, we can have many suppliers, play one against another. Depende na siya sa sitwasyon. This is not true to all. Depende sa sitwasyon, depende sa commodity. But kini, this is very true. Long-term partnering with few suppliers. Diba? If you have established good relationship with long-term suppliers, probably kung naay daghan buyers, ikaw ilang unahon. Kung naay mga maayong supply, ilan ang itago para is reserve para sa imuha. Kung makita nila nga ang supply dili maayo, dili sila advice nga ayo lang sa ni palita ang ning nga supply kay medyo dili maayo. Those are the benefits that we can get if long-term partnering. So kana inyong mga uyab karon, kung naa manggaling, no, the long-term benefit that you can get is kanang you can really reap the loyalty of your partner as long as inyong tarungon, inyuhang atimanon ang inyuhang partner. Then vertically integrate by supplier or distributor. Vertical integration, I already discussed this in many chapters that we encounter in this particular course. So you have to partner with your supplier, that we have the backward integration under the vertical integration, and we can also partner with distributor, that is forward integration under vertical integration. We can do that to improve the supply chain. That is another strategy. And virtual company uses suppliers on as needed basis. So katong mga dili ingid nato sila direct nga partner, but on call bitaw nga we can potential, no, nga kung magkalisod pwede nato sila nga mata. Virtual companies can be formed. Then logistics. Logistic refers to the movement of materials and information within the facility to incoming and outgoing shipment of goods and materials. So that is logistics, since we will be introducing some techniques or strategies relating to logistics. Logistics, the movement of materials and information, no, either incoming padulong sa imuhang business or outgoing from your business to the market. So we have this reverse logistics, backward flow of goods return to the supply chain. So we cannot go away that there are times nga back to sender ang ato ang na-deliver. There are times nga na ay defect ang atong na-deliver. So pabalik. So in reverse logistics, we have to think, or we have to strategize on systems or ways or methods on how we can repair those defects. Nga dili siya nga labay diretso, that we can still repair or even utilize those returned goods, that we can still sell with some level of economic value, no? So reverse logistics should be planned and should be well thought, no? Dapat huna-hunaon gina siya, dapat i-consider. Then processing return goods, like katong gi-mention kag na kung nauli na proper sorting, examining, restocking, and repairing. Kaya kung ma-repair pa, at least we can still sell those products, o dili lang siya considered as waste. Remember, we invest money on that. Gatekeeping, screening goods to prevent incorrect acceptance of goods. So, kana bitaw mga delivery trucks na, for example, for Chowking, for Jollibee, when the supplies comes, no, on the different branches, gatekeeping should be done, no, like mga patties and some other supplies should be checked first randomly before they are going to accept that one, so that if there are problems in the supplies, then it can be immediately mabalik sa sender, no, kaysa dako na kayo ang damage if nasulod na sa inyong stock room, na nasa inyong mga freezer, ay pa na consider ang mga problema, then it will take time, more time na in returning the supplies, and it eventually can affect your operation. Remember that one. Dili lang pud tong katong sa delivery nga katong sa Shopee nga giablihan ni buyer and then dili maong na deliver niya, dunggabon si rider. Wrong, no, that is a very wrong, dili to siya sakto nga gatekeeping, lahi po to siya nga sitwasyon, and that is not a good action. Avoidance, finding ways to minimize the number of items that are returned. If this strategy about avoidance, there should be something to do with your actual SOP, with your standard operating procedure. You have to integrate really the quality assurance functions within the organization to ensure that everything that goes out in your organization are in good quality and not defective. Remember that it is much more difficult, and it is much more risky, and it is much more costly to repair names and to repair reputation. It's better to resolve issues, defective products within the organization, rather than discovering defective products outside the organization. And the e-business, the very end, karon nga mga panahon, the e-commerce, that is another supply chain strategy. And even agricultural commodities are now, no, under e-commerce. There are already apps, applications, cell phone applications that deals with the delivery purchases of agricultural commodities. So even the agriculture sector, the agribusiness sector, already penetrated in e-commerce. So value chain upgrading, how can we improve the value chain, or in adding value? First is the process upgrading. This is finding ways on how to improve the processes within the organization. You produce the product with high quality and lowering the cost. Find methods from time to time on how to improve performing this particular activities, performing these activities to be able to lower your cost, at the same time improving the quality of your products. So we can do this process upgrading, no? If we do this, we can increase our yields at lower possible cost. And then we can, through this, sa example in farming, how can we do process upgrading? Maybe somehow, if you engage in farming, you can do something about better or applying better planting technique. So going out with a conventional ways on how to do something. Then another thing, maybe about irrigation. You can do something about irrigation, especially if you produce vegetable products, no, mga commodities, na yung mga different nga mga irrigation nga mga bag-o karon, na you can really minimize the use of water, no, especially if you do vertical farming. Dako kay na nga makatabang ma-lower nimo ang cost nimo, at the same time matarong nimo atiman ang imuhang mga tanom. Maybe somehow also you can think of better pest management. You can incorporate integrated pest management, no? The best technique that you can apply for in your particular farm, and improve diri gid mo maayo in marketing. Devise ways on how you can best market your products in a way that it will be attractive to the customers, to the market, and it can really capture the attention of a wider market. And somehow also in the packaging, you can also play with the packaging. Tanawa ra sa mga master chef ng mga salida or kanang mga cooking show, aha man na daugon murag kanang mga ordinary nga mga dishes, but then mumahal siya, it's because of packaging. That is part of process upgrading. Mumahal ang product because of packaging. So you can do something about that also. Horizontal coordination or horizontal integration. I already discussed this in previous chapters also, but you can also apply this one. Like for farmers, diba, in horizontal coordination, we are trying to get a greater control of those are getting benefits by doing the activities that we are doing. So this is about coordinating your activities with others who occupy the same stage of the chain. So if you're a farmer, you can perform this by forming cooperation or forming cooperatives or forming an organization within your co-farmers, no? So that you can take advantage of the benefits that you can get if you are going to market your product as one. Yun ana. Then of course you can reduce your cost in buying your supplies. You will have an increased bargaining power in selling your products. And if in terms of financing, if you are a member of a cooperative or an organization, you could increase your credit worthiness at some point. And in vertical coordination, ako na ning na example kagina, you form partnership alliance with your supplier, create alliance with your distributors. And if you're a farmer, vertical coordination, this is also one example that I can cite is the contract growing agreements, no? For example, kining mga banana growers. So si farmers walay capital, so si company, let us say Sumifru, they provide materials to the farmer, si farmer ang mag-grow, and then with the contract nga depende sa contract nila is si farmer din dito niya ibaligya kang Sumifru yung product. So that is vertical coordination. So di ba there is a cooperation nga walay yuta si Sumifru na si farmer. So gipautang ni Sumifru og input si farmer para makagrow og saging, gi-providean og technology, and then ibaligya ni farmer to kang Sumifru, and then pagbaligya ni farmer dito rin i-minus ang mga utang ni farmer. Then makaginan siya na si farmer. So there is a coordination. If the supply chain will just be very well coordinated, then there everyone will be happy, of course. Functional upgrading meaning it occurs when farmers perform more tasks in the chain. So when the value chain are short, this option can be effective, but the longer the chain, the higher the risk, especially for those with little experience. So in general, the shorter the chain, the better. Bulahan si farmer, bulahan pod si consumer. So functional upgrading pasabot nga si farmer, siya na nagtanom, siya nag-produce sa iyang supply, siya ang nag-conduct og processes, siya ang nagbaligya. Bali, farmer performs multiple processes, multiple function. So in that sense, if just farmers can do this functional upgrading, bulahan po sila. Maka-maximize po sila sa ilahang ginansya. And other types of upgrading like product upgrading, interchain upgrading, and meeting standards and certifications. Upgrading by applying and complying for different nga mga certifications. For agriculture, we have the global GAP, the Global Good Agricultural Practices, wherein if you can pass on the standards set by this particular certificate giving body, then you will be issued with a global GAP certificate. And that is something that could make your produce more attractive compared to the others in the market. If makita na ni customer nga global GAP nga accredited nga company, mas attracted na sila, mas safe ang product nga ako paliton. Yan ana. Okay. Keeping records and getting market information, ako na siyang na-emphasize no before. And then chain vision. The chain vision is very important, wherein there should be a vision. There should be a vision that we have to satisfy customers. A vision that we have to strengthen our relationship with partners, and we can grow our alliances. Okay. Then for the agribusiness global chain, over the past 3 decades, high-value agricultural markets have become more sophisticated, consolidated, and regulated, making it increasingly difficult for new actors to participate and upgrade in the value chain. So that's why small growers, small farmers are being pressured. But then even, inyo lang bantayan, even gagmay, basta kanunay, dili layo nga even the mga small growers, kung magtinabangay cooperation, somehow they will grow and improve. Even we are very much pressured with the global presence of the imported products, and this other countries which are dictating unsa ang mga leading products at present. I know that with the efforts of Filipino farmers, we can still compete globally, and I don't lose hope, especially with our young generation farmers. National and global lead firms now dictate how products are cultivated, harvested, transported, processed, and stored through a series of public and private standards that producers, both large and small, around the world must comply with in order to maintain their access to market. This one is never bad at all. This is not bad. This even poses a great challenge to everyone, to agribusiness students, to future agripreneurs, to really push innovation, to do something different, to maximize and add value to current products, and to be able to compete even with imported products. And in developing countries, this specific firm level constraints to participation are often compounded by country level challenges to competitiveness. And I believe that these different challenges in the supply chain are just platforms to improve and to unleash the skills of Filipino agripreneurs. And I believe that along the way, Filipino farmers can make a mark in the world supply chain. No, and I hope that in coming years, maybe not now, not today, but in coming years, and I hope that you students can take part, no, can take part in improving the supply chain and the value chain of any commodities that we have in the country in the future. And that would be all for this chapter. So